Chapter 1. Littered Ideas. Clumps of crumpled paper laid scattered across my floor like little molehills, although to me they felt like mountains. Ugh, it's 1 a.m. How will I ever get this collection designed in time for my editors to approve tomorrow? It felt like I had no inspiration within me. My name is Beatrice, but my friends call me Bird. When I was younger, I dreamt of creating things that people had never seen before. But fast forward to present day, and here I am wondering where the magic went. I work a corporate job now. I used to sketch and doodle my ideas. Now I just document them in a templated format. In this state of mind, I would never get the collection done. I needed to clear my head, so I headed outside for a walk. Chapter 2. Outside. It felt good to be outside, freeing. I started walking towards a diner I hoped might be open. My warm breath swirled in circles around me. It's unseasonably chilly, I thought. My feet were getting so cold it felt like I was floating past each building. "Hello, miss," said a woman's voice, grounding me back to reality. "I know you, miss," the woman persisted. "Please read this," she said to me, sliding a leather-coated book into my hands. I looked down at the shrouded book in my hands and opened my mouth to respond, but she was already walking away. Weird, I thought, and on that note, I figured it was probably best to return home. When I got back to my apartment, I plopped the mysterious book on my coffee table. As it fell, a golf ball-sized pendant necklace slipped out. It was beautiful. Hopefully this will give me inspiration for tomorrow's meeting, I thought as I set my alarm and began to count sheep. Chapter 3. Elevator. I woke up to birds cooing loudly. The birds normally aren't this loud, I thought to myself. I wonder if... Wait! Oh no, the time! My alarm! I must have overslept. I quickly threw on my clothes, scooped my stale ideas that I would have to make work, and headed for the door. As I rode the elevator down, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the metallic elevator walls. Who am I anymore? I thought, as my empty eyes stared back at me. I was racing to present half-hearted ideas that I did not even believe in. In fact, I did not even believe in myself. And with that thought, the doors opened. I took one step out, then immediately froze. Chapter 4. The Jungle. The lobby of my apartment was gone. In its place, a lush, overgrown jungle with trees that towered above the clouds. What is happening to me? I could see bright blue mountains in the distance, unlike anything I'd seen before. I must be dreaming. The jungle in front of me was dense and lush. Color illuminated every tree with a vivaciousness that swayed and flowed as if the jungle had its own rhythm. I could taste the sunshine. It tasted citrusy, like oranges, lemons, and limes. Every sense I had was invigorated. What is happening to me? Why does this feel so real? In my mind, the jungle went from a beautiful dreamland to my worst nightmare. As quickly as my emotions changed, so too did the jungle's warm welcome. The colorful jungle turned dark as night, and one of the mountains behind me had erupted, with orange gooey lava smoking its way down straight toward me. I ran in terror into the thick brush of the dark jungle. As I was running, I saw a figure running next to me. I stopped in my tracks. I thought I recognized him, but it can't be true. Am I losing my mind? He looked exactly like a stuffed animal I had when I was a kid, and I left him on a train in Paris when I was 8. His name was Pierre, and he was a pig. After losing him, I would doodle drawings of him in our adventures. "Run," said the figure rushing past me, "and veer left." I did as the Pierre-looking figure instructed, but in the distance I could see we were approaching a giant cliff. Where would I go from here? I started to panic. I watched on as Pierre pulled out a piece of chalk and started sketching a tunnel on the cave wall. "Come on," he said, reaching for my hand. And just like that, we ran through the drawing and into the cave. "The lava can't get in here," said Pierre, lighting a fire. "We've been getting a lot of new ideas here. What are you?" asked Pierre. I was confused and maybe even in shock. All I could do was carry on until something started to make sense again. "My name is Bird. What do you mean, new ideas?" I questioned. "Ah, you must be new," said Pierre. "We're all ideas that have no place to go. We're stuck here, and more of us keep arriving each day. At first we were excited to have so many new ideas to interact with," he continued, "but the jungle reacts to the emotions of the ideas, and fear brings out the darkness of the jungle. Was Pierre talking about me? My ideas? Why can't I make sense of this? Pierre was now looking into my eyes intently, scanning me. Beatrice? Pierre said softly. You really are my Pierre, I asked, hoping it was true. He stood up with a gigantic smile on his face, and we embraced. We were finally reunited. These are your ideas, aren't they, Beatrice? Asked Pierre. His eyes reminded me of the childhood stuffed animal I would tell all my dreams and sadness to. My ideas just aren't good enough anymore, P, so they never leave my mind, I said, looking away. Well, Pierre began, a bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking, because its trust is not on the branch, but on its own wings. I stared into the fire and watched the embers fly away and disappear. Chapter 5. The Cave. All of a sudden, a mysterious figure came running through the cave wall. Pierre, I've been looking everywhere for you, the voice said, catching its breath. Something is very wrong. The jungle is sinking into the land. The ideas are frightened, and that's making things worse. It's all collapsing in on itself. We need to go see the bird. I think this is about the prophecy. He stepped closer, and our eyes met. Wait, who's this? The figure said, gesturing to me. Now I could make out his face and body. I can't believe it. It was my dog Oscar, who passed away a few years back. When I really missed him, I would sketch a cartoon version of him as a wiener dog with a short body and long snout nose. He had a protruding, fuzzy belly because he loved to eat and was always getting into the trash, and the finishing touch was a pair of sunglasses. My instincts kicked in, and I ran to hug him. Bird, he exclaimed, recognizing me too. What are you doing here? The prophecy. You're here. So, these are all your ideas, the jungle, the prophecy, he said, thinking aloud as he put the pieces together in his head. We need to schedule an appointment with the bird, he continued. You're the only one who can save these ideas. Pierre pulled out his chalk again and began sketching a bird symbol on the floor. We need an appointment with the bird immediately, Pierre said, leaning in close to the bird chalked onto the floor. What is happening? Suddenly, I heard a voice that surrounded all of us. The voice spoke quickly. The bird isn't going to be able to see you today. We are completely booked up. Pierre boomed back. We have someone here that the bird should meet. She's not an idea. She's a person. The sound paused for a few moments, and I wondered if maybe it meant nothing. We are sending a flight service to get you now, the voice responded. Pierre, Oscar, and I looked at each other with hope. Chapter 6. Flight Service. When I stepped out of the cave, the jungle looked completely different. The lava had left a path of destruction in its wake. The treetops were completely obliterated, and I could see little critters hiding within their hollow trunks. The strange architecture that once was my apartment was now burned, bubbling, and oozing. Clouds littered the sky with darkness. This is all my fault. I began to reflect on my decisions that led me to this point. My creative spirit that once breathed life into these ideas now fills them with torture and misery. I felt like I was seeing myself, all of me, for the first time. I had to make a change. I had to fight for my ideas. Snip, snip, snap, shackle, crack. I heard strange noises coming from above me. I looked up to see the flight service preparing for landing. This was an idea from a story I made up for my younger sister when we would ride the bus to school. She was terrified of potholes, but I knew I could use my imagination to make her feel a little bit better. So I convinced her that an invisible hot air balloon was attached to the bus in case of an emergency. And so, when we were hitting bumps, we would always be okay because of the hot air balloon. We still laugh about that today. I smiled to myself a little. Cool idea. Of course this idea would be here, and put to good use, it seems. Chapter 7. The Nest. It was a short ride to the nest to see the bird. We sat in a waiting room made from old books, fuzz, and straw. Who is this bird? I asked Pierre while we were waiting. The bird is all-knowing. She knows every answer, and she has never been wrong, said Pierre. Some say her brain works faster than a computer. She predicted that someone would come here to save us. She has been waiting for you. I stared down at the straw under my feet. I have to save my ideas, I thought. But what if I fail? Just then, the waiting room door swung open, and I immediately recognized the bird. When I was in college, I used to graffiti abandoned buildings with my friends, and my symbol was always a bird with a long neck and legs, and 2 sets of wings that stuck out like chicken tenders. The bird spoke to us very matter-of-factly. "You must find the book and pendant. It is the only way to fulfill the prophecy." "I know where I can find it," Oscar exclaimed immediately. "It has to be in the land of lost things. I can take us there. It's close." Pierre pulled out his chalk again and sketched an incredible motorcycle with a sidecar attached. When he was finished, he grabbed the motorcycle out of the ground and pulled it into existence. We all piled in and headed to the land of lost things. Chapter 8. The Land of Lost Things. When I used to live with my dad, I would refer to his house as the Land of Lost Things, because my things would always go missing and I would never find them again. As the motorcycle came to a halt, I could make out an alternative reality version of my dad's house. This must be the Land of Lost Things, I thought. I saw objects swirling around the red brick home, almost like a slow-moving tornado. But before we could go inside, we were greeted by another one of my ideas. I recognized him immediately because he was a recent idea. His name was Lee, named after my favorite fashion designer, Lee McQueen. This was a shot-down idea I had for work, to show a unisex collection on genderless, inhuman objects. Looking at Lee now, I realized what a cool idea he really was. "Are you lost?" asked Lee. "We're looking for a book and pendant," I said. "The bird from the nest told us it's the only way to save the jungle from disappearing. Have you seen it anywhere?" Lee laughed and pointed to Pierre and Oscar. "You might already be too late, missus. Your friends are already disappearing." I spun around to see that Lee was telling the truth. I could peer through Pierre and Oscar's now translucent arms. Panic struck. I had lived so long without these ideas, but now I couldn't imagine being without them. "Here's the book and pendant," said Lee. I frantically opened the book, searching for the answer to save these ideas, my ideas, but the book was empty. Chapter 9. The Beginning of the End. Familiarly haunting blank pages stared back at me. Wait, this can't be. While flipping through the blank pages, I finally found one page with a short paragraph of text written inside. "Ideas are fleeting. Ideas should be free. When they are stuck, there is no hope. The ideas are what will keep you afloat. Your words and images are what they will be. Record the truths or no one will ever see, and your ideas will cease to be." I opened the pendant, and inside was a mini set of paintbrushes and a pen. "Write your story" was inscribed on the pendant. I looked back at Pierre, Oscar, and Lee. They were disappearing so quickly. I knew what I had to do. I pulled the set of paintbrushes and pen from the pendant. They adjusted to the perfect size for my hand, as if they'd been made for me. I sat down on the very ground rumbling beneath me, and I told our story. I made the pages feel our existence, made them believe in us too. I wrote down all of my ideas. I sketched illustrations to accompany the words, to further prove their existence, to keep them from disappearing. As I colored in the last illustration, I looked up with excitement to tell Pierre and Oscar that I was finished, but they were gone. Everything was gone. I closed my eyes, tears streaming down my cheeks. Please, please save my ideas. Bring, bring, bring. I opened my eyes. I was back inside my apartment, in my bed. My alarm was going off. Wow, crazy dream. I can remember everything from it. I was replaying each little moment in my head when I noticed the book on the ground. I got out of bed and picked it up. My hands traced the shrouded leather cover and flipped it open. The pages weren't blank this time. I read the story I had just written moments ago. The story of my adventure. My ideas. It was all in this book. I smiled, never feeling more myself than I did at this moment.
We also wanted to share the ideas and designs of youth designers from the Boys and Girls Club of Detroit. Deviate partners with the Boys and Girls Club to lead a program that offers paid apprenticeships to youth who want to pursue their interests in fashion. Here you are looking at ideas and pieces that these youth designers created after just 3 months of training with Deviate. 3 months ago, they did not know how to operate a sewing machine, how to pattern draft, or how to technically illustrate, but they worked tirelessly to learn these skills and grow as designers. The youth are incredibly passionate about fashion, and we need to support the evolution of their ideas. We believe they will bring a fresh, new dimension to this industry. These are the ideas of the future, and we're excited to showcase them here.